25th, 2024 meeting of the Westwood Select Board to order. Good evening, everyone. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, on March 29, 2023, Governor Moore Healey signed into law an act making appropriations for the fiscal year 2023 to provide for supplementing certain existing appropriations and for certain other activities and projects. This act includes an extension until March 31, 2025 of the remote meeting provisions. This March 25, 2024 Select Board meeting will be conducted via remote participation by the board. I hereby grant permission to Westwood Media Center to record the meeting and to anyone else who wishes to record the meeting. Good evening, everyone. I am Mary Ann LeBlanc Cummings, the chair of the Select Board, and with me are my colleagues, Rob Gotti and Joe Prevotera. Also joining me are Christopher Coleman, our town administrator, Stephanie McManus, assistant town administrator and finance director, Molly Keene, assistant town administrator and director of human resources, Pat Ahern, town council, Tish Healy, executive assistant to the town administrator, and Michelle Miller, our procurement officer. We also have with us, I see Nora Loughnane, our director of community and economic development, and also with us is Alex Portillo from Westwood Media Center. Thank you very much, Alex, as always. With that, I will move right into the chair's update. The first announcement is that our annual town election will be held on Tuesday, April 30, 2024. Some important dates to consider. The last day for voter registration is April 19, 2024. The last day to apply for vote by mail ballot is April 23rd, 2024. And April 23rd is also the last day for the posting of the warrant for the annual town election and annual town meeting. So on election day, April 30, 2024, all residents will vote at the Westwood High School Gymnasium, and the polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Residents are encouraged to visit the town website for more information about the annual town election. Then the annual town meeting will take place on May 6, 2024 at Westwood High School in the auditorium at 6:30 p.m. Registered voter check-in will begin at 5:30 p.m. Again, annual town meeting on May 6, 2024. And lastly, we are thrilled to announce that the town is seeking a youth poet laureate for 2024 to 2025. The duties of the youth poet laureate include writing original poems for the library website and reciting these at special town events like Westwood Day, the townwide poetry reading, and other civic events. The youth poet laureate works in collaboration with the poet laureate to give workshops, participate in cultural events, and develop their poetry project. To apply, you should send a cover letter stating your interest and your experience to date in writing and studying poetry, your reasons for applying for this position, and you'll need to include 2 references with their contact information and 5 pages of your original poetry, which requires the statement that you are the sole author of the cover letter, contents, and all poems in your writing sample. All applications must be sent in Word or PDF format via email by midnight Thursday, March 28, 2024. And this must be sent to Westwood's Poet Laureate, Lynn Vitti, at poetlaureate@townhall.westwood.ma.us. I will repeat that. Poet Laureate, POETLAUREATE @townhall.westwood.ma.us. That is it for my update. I will turn this over to Chris for the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have one update for the community. I want to share that we have a public service announcement, or PSA, that was put together by our Community and Economic Development Department. It runs approximately 7 minutes long, and it's regarding the MBTA Communities Law. You can actually find this video on the town's homepage if you scroll down to the bottom underneath the calendar with the title MBTA Communities Law. This was narrated by a town planner, Elijah Romulus, and it's a really great 7-minute capture of what that law requires. So I want to thank the Community and Economic Development Department for putting this together with the assistance from Westwood Media Center and also Elijah.
Thank you, Chris. We will move into scheduled action, and the first item on our agenda is an update on the owner project manager, or OPM, for the Fire Station 1 project. And with us is Michelle Miller, our procurement officer. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hold on just a moment. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Madam Chair, while we're just waiting, I think one thing I'd just like to share with the town and the board is I certainly want to thank all the members of the working group, Pat Ahern, Brian Baer, John Cummings, Molly Keene, Interim Chief Lund, and Michelle Miller for their work on this. This was a great group that really vetted out a lot of information, vetted out information from different applicants. And we're still working through some things that Michelle will highlight for you this evening, but I certainly want to thank those individuals for their contribution to this work.
I definitely second that. We've got a very, very strong team on this, making a big difference. So we received proposals on the 21st of February. We received 6 proposals, which is great. I think at this point, when you receive more than 2 or 3, that's really good. And we were very pleased. The companies we received proposals were from Construction Monitoring Service, they go by CMS, Colliers International, P3, RGB Architects, Turner and Townsend Harry, and the Vertex Company. So our whole team evaluated the proposals and came to a conclusion of we did reg ordered. And then the next step we do for that is the top 3 proposals. We invite them in to do a presentation, and that is just to do with the work. We're not necessarily worried about presentation skills, worried about delivering the product. And the 3 that we selected to come in and give presentations were CMS, Turner, Townsend and Harry, and Vertex. They came in about 2 weeks ago, did an excellent job. Our team, the rules are if you sit through one, you sit through them all. So we had really, really strong evaluation, and we tie that back to the RFQ. Everything that we're going to evaluate is written in there. So we've got our guidelines. And what we do from there is we take our top contractor and request a fee proposal. So as we get to this point, there's some good discussion going on between what people saw within the proposals and the presentations. And it's very unusual to see this, which is great. But every single evaluator had the same company ranked top. So we had the 1 through 6, we narrowed it down. After the presentations, everybody had the same company as their top ranked, which was great. We were all on the same page. So we requested a fee proposal, and that's this process a little bit different than some other ones where we get the technical aspect and the price together. With this process for an OPM, we don't do that because what we're trying to find is the most qualified. We're not worried about price, but that's not the driver. So what you do is we take our top qualified person, then we look at a fee proposal. If we can afford it, that's the direction we go. So where we are right now is we have a first draft of a fee proposal. We had a couple issues that we needed to work out that were in the proposal, a few questions. So I think we've got most of our answers at that point. So we'll request the top rated contractor to give us an update on their fee proposal. the team will look at that and make sure that that is exactly the contract we want to go through. And then I think we'll be ready to select a contractor, and we're hoping to do that in the next week or two. And we'll work out the contract, which the contractor has already seen because we put that as part of our review package when they actually bid on the job. So they've seen their first run at the contract. So we're looking at early to mid-April contract award, and we'll start right away. So any questions?
Michelle, just for the sake of residents' understanding, can you just speak briefly to the role of the OPM in the design project?
Absolutely. OPM stands for Owner's Project Manager, and what that is that's a company that represents the town and throughout the entire project. We've got a lot. We'll have a general contractor, we'll have a designer, a lot of subcontracts, a lot going on every single construction project. But in the state of Massachusetts, if you spend more than $1.5 million on a construction project, you're required to have somebody with project management qualifications in-house, which Westwood does not have, or you're required to go out and hire somebody that has these skill sets. So they're there through the entire project, and they represent the town, our best interests. Of course, we want to find somebody that works well with everybody. It definitely makes the project go smoother, but our best interests are their best interests.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that update.
Madam Chair, if I could just add something to that.
Sure.
So certainly want to thank Michelle for her work. I did mention the committee, but I also want to mention two other people who help coordinate and bringing us all together to make sure that we had the right information, the right materials, and the meeting went, the interview process with these candidates, or the presentation process, excuse me, with these candidates went well. And that's Tish Healy and Janice Donovan. So I want to thank both of them for their work in this process as well.
Thanks, Chris. We can say that every day about those two.
Rob, Joe, any questions or comments?
No, it sounds like this will wait till our next meeting for any action at this point.
Yes.
No, it's a good presentation. Well done.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very
Michelle.
much, Michelle, for your ongoing work and for that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Sure.
Okay. Moving on to our next agenda item is a suggested transfer from the Select Board Reserve Fund relative to the traffic count study at Canton, Everett, and Forbes Road. Chris, you're going to take this one?
Yes. So as the board may recall, at your last meeting, or excuse me, at your March 11th meeting, there was a discussion about conducting a traffic study. And Nora gave a great presentation on this work. It was suggested or discussed, mentioned the Select Board Reserve, but the board never really voted that. So what we would like to do is bring this back to the board for the formal vote. So we have that, and then we can then put a PO together and then work with Beta on this work. But we just want to make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And we certainly had that discussion at our last meeting. Joe, Rob, any questions or comments?
None for me.
Does this ever go out to bid? Why is it always Beta?
We have a number of contracts with Beta. They're on call for their specific expertise in engineering. For consulting contracts, those are not subject to 30B, which is our bidding guidelines for work like that. If you look at some of the DPW, they have, I think, five or six on-call engineering contracts, and they're with different companies, and it goes to whoever has the best expertise in that area.
Okay, I'm just thinking about the Concom, how we used to revolve different consultants. And in keeping in mind, like Todd does with the DPW for the best fit, but I'm just curious how back to Beta on the traffic, but okay.
Could I just note that in this case, Beta performed traffic analysis in 2012, 2014, 2015, and we're looking for an apples to apples comparison to Beta's previous traffic count. So it only makes sense for Beta to continue in this role.
In other words, so we have some consistency with respect to how the work is done, how the results are compared.
Oh, no, I think you're right on the mark with that, Mary, and I agree. We just learn by having different consultants. It taught us a lot as commissioners. We learn from having different people, that's all.
Well, I will entertain a motion then on this.
Certainly, I move the select board approve the transfer of $38,200 from the select board reserve fund for the Canton Everett Forbes traffic count study.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Chris, on that. Moving on, our next agenda item is a discussion on the 2024 annual town meeting warrant. Chris, are you going to take us through this?
Sure.
Thank
So
you.
I just thought I would highlight some of the proposed changes to the warrant language, starting with the select board's articles with the street acceptances. One of the things I do want to correct is during the FinCom the first public hearing with FinCom, when we were talking about the warrant articles, Mary, and you may recall, I mentioned for Ellis Street, it was approximately 150 feet. It's actually, after working with our GIS administrator, it's approximately 300 feet north of Bonnie Street. So we have that listed. We also, with the select board suggestion, also similar comments that were made from the Finance and Warrant Commission, we included a map to give a little bit of a visual of where these street acceptances are. So we have that in the updated draft warrant for the review. And we also, when it came to Porter Street, we have approximately 400 feet southeast of Weatherby Drive. I believe what I mentioned during the first public hearing was approximately 350 feet. So it's approximately 400 feet after we map that out with the GIS. The hedgerow is going, we're working with Community and Economic Development on that, but that will be the entire location. We did include the same type of map or visual aid for that street acceptance as well. And that will be for the entire street of hedgerow. We also, with the suggestion, a very good suggestion from Finance and Warrant Commission, we updated the fee schedule for the CO weights and measures by removing the change of the tanker vehicle fee in 2026 from $100.01 to $100 flat. So we made that change. And we also have no changes to Chapter 184, the clarifying terms, but we do have that in there, red line for other people to review. And at this time, we would also like to make a recommendation to the select board to remove miscellaneous articles 5 through 10. That would leave the town with no miscellaneous articles at this time. There's no additional matters that we're recommending to the board for consideration in this warrant.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions or comments, Rob and Joe?
The only one I have is thank you, Chris, for putting in those little maps. I think that's helpful.
I'd love to take the credit, Joe, but I have to give that to Tal and Tish. They worked together on that to get these visual aids. So I would certainly pass those words on to them. So thank you.
I knew Tish was an old Orienter. Nice work, Tish.
All right. So what we have then is on our agenda is, and we all have this in front of us, is approving our budget articles, which are 3 through 13, and as well as select board articles 1 through 4 and 13. Actually, we've got a bunch, and then we've got 5 through 12.
Madam Chair, would you like me to make a motion in 3 parts?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right. I move the select board approve budget articles 3 through 13 for the 2024 annual town meeting and the presentation of the articles to the Finance and Warrant Commission at its public hearing tomorrow night on March 26, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well.
I further move the select board to approve the following select board articles for the 2024 annual town meeting and the presentation of the articles to the Finance and Warrant Commission at its public hearing tomorrow on March 26, 2024. Select board Article 1, street acceptance for Ellis Street. Select board 2, street acceptance for section of Porter Street. Select board 3, street acceptance for Hedgerow Lane. Select board 4, a general bylaw amendment to chapter 184 with clarifying terms and modifying fines. And select board 13, adoption of a fee schedule for sealing of weights and measures.
I think I got him. I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well.
Next, I move the select board approve select board articles that were the charter review recommended articles for the 2024 annual town meeting and the presentation of the articles to the Finance and Warrant Commission at its public hearing on March 26, 2024. That would be Select Board 5, which is a home rule petition, an act to establish a quorum requirement solely to open meeting. Select Board 6, a home rule petition, an act changing the town clerk position from elected to appointed. Select Board 7, a home rule petition, an act authorizing 1, the moderator to appoint fewer than 15 members due to timing or unavailability of qualified candidates, and 2, members of the Finance and Warrant Commission to serve as ex officio members on town boards and committees. Select Board 8, a home rule petition, an act restructuring the personnel board role. Select Board 9, a home rule petition, an act making changes to the Permanent Building Commission. Select Board 10, a home rule petition, an act making technical revisions to the town charter. Select Board 11, a home rule petition, an act making ministerial and clerical revisions to the town charter. And Select Board 12, home rule petition, an act to amend the town charter to include the housing authority.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
I vote aye as well.
And finally, I move the select board remove miscellaneous articles 5 through 10.
Second.
Roll call, Joe,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
and I vote aye as well. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Nice
Yes.
work.
just to inform the board and others, at your next meeting on April 1st, we will be recommending to the board the numbering or the renumbering of the warrant articles, but we do that after the second public hearing to make sure that there's nothing else that needs to be adjusted.
Thank you, Chris. Excellent. Okay. That brings us to old business. And the first item of old business is the 2024 Westwood Little League Parade. And I see that we have Officer Frank Baker with us. Not sure, are we?
Yep, I'm here.
Good evening, Officer Baker. Thank you for being with us. Are we expecting someone from Westwood Little League?
I believe Alex?
We are expecting Alice Guadagno. He is not, we moved a little faster, so he is not joined yet. But I will look out for him. I just sent him an email as well, so.
Okay. Yeah, for once, we're moving faster than we expect. Perhaps I can give a little bit of an intro to this while we're waiting for Alex to join us. So the Little League Parade is scheduled for Saturday, April 27th, with a rain date of Sunday, April 28th, beginning at 9 a.m. And as I understand it, traditionally, of course, the parade had started at the Hanlon School, but this year the Hanlon is not an option. Pine Hill was being considered as an option, but the school department felt that Pine Hill would not be appropriate due to the amount of ongoing construction around the school. And so, as I understand it, I'm stealing all of Alex's fire while we wait for him to appear. But as I understand it, Westwood Little League has discussed other options with the Westwood Police Department, and it was determined to have the parade start at the Downey School. The plan being that players would be dropped off at the Downey School, and the parade would proceed down Downey Street onto Smith Drive and then onto East Street toward Morrison. So that is what is being proposed. Officer Baker, do you have any comments on that while we wait for
Madam
Alex?
Chair, I actually have a question for Officer Baker.
Oh, go ahead.
Will you be closing East Street at the Rotary, given the length of road that is going to be part of the parade route on East Street, and there's really no other place for people to reroute? What's the plan there?
So to answer your question, yes, East Street at the Rotary is going to be closed during the parade. They'll basically be routed down to Canton Street. We have 6 posts that officers are going to be at, and it looks like we have 5 posts that Westwood Police Explorers are going to take. So the officers are going to take like the main traffic control posts. There's going to be one at the Downey School. There'll be one at the intersection of Downey and Smith, one at the Rotary, another one at the intersection of East at Smith, and then a couple more further down Morrissey in the intersection of Carroll Ave. So we did consider people that would possibly be late to the parade. So in the event that any parents or kids that are participating in the parade are going to be late and the traffic posts are already set up, we'll have them go down Downey Street, and then they would get into the Downey Street school via like Phillip Brooks neighborhoods and come out the back end there.
Just to follow up, will there be someone posted at the top of Downey at Canton Street, so any of that traffic that we're diverting down Canton won't then subsequently turn down Downey?
No, we don't have anybody posted there. I think we have to keep that open in case there are people that are running late, like the parents, but we do have another officer posted at Downey at Smith Drive. So if there's any through traffic that are trying to get on East Street, they'll just be turned around there.
Okay. Thank you.
Joe, I see your hand.
Yeah, I have a question and a comment, and my question is, Frank, I think you knocked it out of the park. Well done. Good job. Will any chance of electronic billboard signs being put up the week before to alert drivers to this?
Absolutely. We can look into that. We can look at the DPW's large sign. We also have our own speed trailer that does messages, so we can have
Oh,
it
great.
a week in advance to alert drivers that there will be an event on that day.
I know it'll be challenging, but that little bit might help. Thanks very much.
Any little bit helps.
Great. Well, this is for information only to the board. I realize we don't have Westwood Little League here, but Officer Baker, you've answered, I think, all of the questions that we have, and this sounds like a sound plan under the circumstances. Any other questions or comments from my colleagues?
I'm looking forward to it.
And hopefully it'll be great weather by then. So, well, I think we can close this out with apologies to Mr. Guadagno for starting this perhaps a little bit earlier on our agenda, given how the meeting is going. And Officer Baker, thank you very much for your work on this and for giving us this update tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Have a good night.
You as well.
Thank
Take care,
you.
Frank.
All right, moving on. Our usual agenda item regarding appointments and reappointments of boards and committees. Chris, I will turn this over to you.
Okay, thank you. So we, as the board knows, we have been advertising vacancies. We're seeking 3 members for the Commission on Disabilities. And we are fortunate enough so far, we have 2 applicants and they will be interviewed later this week. And member Privatera has offered to be part of that interview group. So he will certainly be part of that group. We're still seeking some members for our Historical Commission. And one of the other things that I wanted to bring to the board's attention is the board does have a seat with Westwood Media Center. And at this time, if it's okay with the board, I'd like to recommend to the board that we post that for what we do. We've been posting for 14 days. And so we would hope to have that process completed by your next meeting and a recommendation for the board at your next meeting on April 16th.
Great, thank you, Chris. Sounds good to me. Any other comments? Questions? Thank you very much, Chris. And as always, we encourage people to apply for vacancies on our boards and committees, and welcome folks to do that and appreciate those who do. All right. That brings us to approval of our minutes from March 11, 2024. Any changes, edits?
Not for me.
None by me.
Not, I will.
I think we're going to, unfortunately, I didn't finish them completely, so if we could just hold off approval on those to the next meeting on April 1st, so. Thank you.
You bet. That leads us to public and press. I see. We've got a question from Kathy Wallace, 283 Farm Lane. I have 3 follow-up questions. 1, what is the status of the dedicated FS1 webpage? At the 3/11/24 Select Board meeting, it was stated the FS1 Working Group Chair would discuss this with the working group. Because these are not open meetings, this is the only information source for residents. The existing FS1 information under news on the town website has not been updated since 1/10/24 and does not reflect the results of the special town meeting on 1/17/24 or the next steps. 2, at the 2/26/24 Select Board meeting, Chris Coleman said that he would talk to the IT director about having an auto reply message placed on town email addresses. What is the status of this? I emailed a town staff member today and did not receive an auto reply. 3, at the 3/11/24 Select Board meeting, it was stated that the flag policy document prepared by the intern, Ruby, would be posted on the website. I was not able to find it on the website. Has this been done? Chris, can you help us out with some of this?
Sure, Madam Chair. As far as number 1, we do have a dedicated page. It's on our homepage. If you go down to under calendar, you can click on the updates, and we have had some meetings, and we do have another meeting this week, and we will be posting some information from those meetings on that website. I would say probably before your next meeting. As far as number 2, I'm sorry if there was any confusion. We do have an automatic reply to the question that was asked, was to the Select Board email address, so the BOS email address. We do have an automatic reply to that. We do not have automatic replies to individual team members' email addresses. But we do have that one is up and running as far as the BOS email address. And as far as the third,
I can respond to that, Chris.
okay, thank you.
The flag policy is posted on the town website under the Select Board page, under policies. So not only is the flag policy, but also the information that Ruby provided for us last summer. So that is on the town website. So if I can certainly provide the link if you want to send. I'm not sure who sent this. If Miss Wallace wants to send to me an email, I can provide the link if she can't find it.
Thank you very much, Chris and Tish. Okay. Oh, and Kathy Wallace has a follow-up question, 283 Farm Lane. Is there consensus on the FS1 working group that the new station will have a red brick exterior?
Chris, I can answer that. There's not been a consensus. We're still in the very early stages of this design work, looking at the interior, making sure that the department has everything they need operationally before we move to the exterior of the building.
Thank you very much, Molly.
Mary Ann, can I just qualify for Kathy that my only request to Chris Coleman was for the Board of Selectmen email address, and Chris, you did exactly as I requested, so thank you.
Got it.
You're very welcome, Joe. Thank you.
Okay. Not seeing any other questions or comments from residents. So I will announce that the select board will be attending the March 26th Finance and Warrant Commission public hearing. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the library. And after that, our next select board meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. via Zoom. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second the motion with the understanding that Tish includes in the minutes that our chair also knocked it out of the park by getting us out of here in record time.
Thank you, Joe. Roll call. Joe?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Yeah.
Good night.